sharing?
I can see it.
Awesome. All right, so the name of our project is Codeplay, and I'm Blaine Prestonbeck.
I'm Nicholas Dunbar, and our client is, of course, Aiden Higginbottom. All right, our project is actually a web-based code playground, as you could tell from the name, Codeplay. It's a program for Aiden's previous Capstone project, CompProg.edu. We use ASP.NET, React, React Ace for our code editor, and the Judge Zero API for the actual code compilation.
All right, and let's jump right into a demo. All right. So here we have it's a very simple single page web page. And so here you'll just have your main window, which will contain any code you're writing. You have some console input, console output, something very standard you see for just about any kind of online like a code editor and whatnot. And so you can, up top, you could select the language you'd like. Right now, these are the ones we have in place. These are limited to what the Judge Zero API has available, since they are compiling our code. And so let's go ahead and stick with Java for now. Everyone's at least a little familiar with that at school. And so let's go ahead and write a simple little hello world program. And you'll see here as we type, part of the React Ace library we're using, it has some code snippets depending on the language you're using at the time. Different languages have different amounts of code snippets, and Java is one of the good ones on here. So we'll stick with this. And we'll use them to make things easy. All right, and we'll go ahead and run it.
Yeah, and as we're running, it's actually converting the code into base 64 in case there's characters that can't be sent through JSON. And it's being sent to a Judge Zero queue, which in this case has returned an error because Blaine did not learn Java.
No. And so if we want, we could always resize our windows. We want to see a bit more. So let's do that. And there we go. Now it should work. All right, there we go. Okay, and so something else you could do, everyone has their preferences with code editors. So, besides being able to reshape windows how you like, you could also move them around. Say if you'd like to combine them and then do like this, like you might see in Visual Studio or VS Code. But I think for this demonstration, I like how we originally had it. So we'll keep it like this. Some other options you have. We have a little sidebar over here with some really simple options for now. You could change font size. We do let it go all the way up to font size 72, just because it seems like a silly thing that's still part of Microsoft Word, so it's there. So we could change that around depending on the size of your screen. And we also have a handful of themes in here that will change the themes of your editors. And there are a lot of dark themes, but as much as we tend to like them, believe it or not, there are people who like light themes. So we do have those in here. You could have it like Eclipse or one called Clouds, and that'll change the way it does code highlighting and everything is with it. But let's stick with a dark one that's a little nicer presentation. All right, so let's do one other program that will show off console input. Okay, here we go. This is something you might see that's really simple in a intro computer science class. It'll just take in two inputs from the consoles, add them and then print them out. So with this, since we submit everything at once to the Judge Zero API, it won't wait for the console input. We'll put it in ahead of time and then hit run. So do that. And if I've learned how to code, it will print out yes. So the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is the two numbers we added up. Okay. And that's about it for the main project. If we could, we'll go over the future goals we have and some ideas.
Yeah. So we are going to keep working on this project after this class because we're both really interested in it. We both really like it. Might not be as consistent as during the class, but we do have some future goals. Some of them were goals we wanted to do regularly. We wanted to create a user login. We wanted to save a single file program. We want that fully working. We want to be able to add more code snippets, and we can do that through making a pull request into the ACE editor library for languages with few snippets. Like, as you saw, Java has a million of them, and something like Kotlin, I don't even know if I had one. I don't know who codes in Kotlin though. We could also, or we want to also be able to save your own custom snippets that'll be available like in your user account. So if you have something that you use all the time, you should be able just to drag it in and use it in this. And some advanced settings we might want to do are like limiting CPU time and memory address space, and like have the ability to run multiple times and average the CPU and memory usage for like competitive programming. But that's a little bit more advanced. But I think that's all we'd really like to do for the future for right now. Questions, comments, concerns?
I have questions. Did you guys run into any interesting problems? And if you have, how have you solved them?
We had a few. I think the one I'll choose is we initially had an issue where when we would resize these windows, it wouldn't recalculate where to perform text wrapping in the editor. So we had to do some funny looking stuff to essentially force it to re-render to let it know like, hey, you need to recalculate things. So we did that and got it working. And then a week or two later, we decided, okay, let's go back and refactor this and make a wrapper around this ACE editor, which is what these editors are called, and keep all that funny code in there. So, you know, potentially it could be reusable, or it's just the better way of doing it. And so we did that and it worked and it felt good. And then maybe a week after that, we had a very similar problem where we did themes and font sizes and the component would not automatically update. But thankfully, we had a wrapper component we made that incredibly easy. So initially we thought it would just be like, oh yeah, just learn to do things the right way. And it ended up paying off pretty quickly. So we kind of didn't expect that.
Okay, looks good.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I want to say that this project is definitely really interesting because the majority of projects that we do see really within all of the project classes at Southeastern, you see one group take it from start to finish. And in this case, it's being passed across multiple groups. How did you and your team manage the onboarding process of figuring out a pre-existing code base and being able to hit the ground running and immediately start tackling achievables?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Perhaps we could have clarified that a bit more in the beginning, and that this is a fresh project. It actually isn't part, or this is a web page that could potentially be used within the CompProg edu. So it actually isn't built on top of any existing code base. And again, perhaps we could have clarified that a bit more.
Gotcha. So in this case, it could be related to an extension thereof. It's not like a direct derivative of. Gotcha.
Yes, yeah, because I believe in his project they had a code editor, but he wanted one where it essentially just looked and felt nicer. And one of the big interesting features we wanted to do was make all the windows resizable, be able to move them around, which was a whole adventure of trying out many different libraries that ran into dead ends.
Any other questions?
So I take it
Okay.
you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I take it by the usage of the word snippets, you did look at LinkPad?
I heard the last part. I missed the first half.
Oh, you mentioned that you wanted to add the snippets. And so that makes me think LinkPad, which is a great program. I believe I mentioned it last time. Steal all the good ideas from LinkPad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we both kind of discussed doing that. And we think the starting point would be doing possibly a pull request into the actual ACE editor library that adds some code snippets to kind of get familiar with it, to see how we could sort of do that in our project where it's, say, a custom snippet that's saved to your account. But yeah, that's definitely a neat idea that we have on the horizon. We'd like to try.
All right. Since we have the client here, I would like to hear the client's, opinion of the project.
Yeah, project's really good. Really happy with both Blaine and Nick. They were able to get a lot done, even with this crazy semester, and they tackled a lot of, I guess, new problems you wouldn't normally run into when doing a project. This stuff is pretty new territory, such as like the window resizing and just using an outside API like Judge Zero and having to familiarize yourself with all that. And it's everything's really clean and it looks nice. So it's definitely something that could potentially or for sure use. And they definitely, it shows that they had a lot of interest in this and really cared about what was going on. And everything looks really good. Definitely happy with it.
Thank you, Aiden. Any other questions or feedback for the group?
Did you try getting Judge Zero running locally?
We did not.
We did not.
That was something we would potentially try if we ran in, as I said, if we had more people working on it and we're hitting our free account limit. But we've never come close to hitting that yet, so we haven't. But potentially in the future, just to do it so that code could run faster.
They just use Docker, and it would be a fun experience, I think, to use Docker for this. If you haven't already used it, it's neat.
Yeah, maybe that could be our intro to Docker things.
Hey, this is Misty here with Ncentric. Who all contributed to this? Wasn't really sure about that. Sorry.
So that was me and
Yeah.
Nick contributed to it. It's just the two of us in this group, but we did have help, asking a lot of questions of how to do specific weird things or how to attempt using libraries that have almost no documentation, which is not a great idea. So, I mean, yeah, we did get a lot of help outside of the two of us to tackle weird problems.
Oh, sure. And that's how real life works too. So Yeah, so you guys were kind of the brainchild behind this, or what prompted you to want to even what was the thought process behind setting this up?
Well, the main thing our client Aiden had wanted was a web-based code editor that feels nice, that has, and he felt, or we all felt, that one of the big things that you don't always see online is such as like just reshapeable windows was like, and maybe at the beginning we thought it was, I don't know, sort of a fun gimmicky thing that we could try, because a lot of the project was also just an educational of trying to learn new things that we haven't done.
Okay,
And
this is
so
great. I love it.
a lot of some of the little things came from that.
Good job. Thank you.
Any other questions? Feedback? All right, I guess we go like what Matt says, virtual clapping. That will be good. And our next group will be the 3 docketeers. It's Avinash Joshi, Bibek Bastola, and Rajkumar Adhikari. And the client is Chris Gray. So go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody that could be here for our presentation, and thank you all for being here. Also, I think our clients from the church, Ali and Zach, are here too, so I'd like to welcome them and thank them for being here. We are the 3 docketeers. I'm Bibek Bastola.
I'm Avinash Joshi.
And I'm Rajkumar Adhikari.
And so our project is a complete redesign of the First United Methodist Church website. We are approached to make their website, the old website, completely redesigned with a more user-friendly and let's say a modern-looking website. It was quite outdated, and what they wish to achieve from that is just helpful for website visitors, anybody who likes to know information about the church, watch their live stream from YouTube, and then sign up for events that they might have in coming days and weeks. Now let's talk about clients.
Okay, so our clients are Christopher Gray, who is here today, and he's a developer at Blue Cross Blue Shield of LA, and he's also a Southeastern alumnus. Along with Chris, our clients from the church are Reverend Ali Young. He's the pastor of the First United Methodist Church, Gonzales, and along with her is Zach Pittman, who is also here today. And he is the director of the Rise Youth Ministry at First United Methodist Church, Gonzales. Next, we'll be talking about the technologies used.
Okay, the technology we used was AWS Amplify to configure the app backend and connect with the front end using continuous deployment. We use AWS Cognitor to do sign-off, sign-in, and access control to the app, and AWS App Sync and GraphQL for handling API requests. And we use React as our front end, and Amazon DynamoDB to store editable objects like notification sign-up for admins to toggle on, off, and toggle on and off.
Now let's move on to the demo. All right, so this is what the page looks like, the landing page. And here we have a window background going with the banner that's editable by the admin. And we have 4 different sections If you click on who we are, it's going to take you to that section of the page. And if you click on I'm new, it's going to scroll down to that section. Same with ministries. And ministries has 6 different tiles of ministries which you can choose. And that we can go later. Avinash is going to show that. And let's go to Little Lambs MDO. And also we have on the first link, we have a give link on the top. That would be, when clicked, would be prompted to simple church giving that the church uses for donations and stuff. And go back, we have on the bottom of Little Lambs MDO, we have a contact us page on the left, and then a newsletter sign up on the right. Now, contact us form, if you type your name, and email and subject, let's say requesting prayer, and then your message. And submit it. The email that's set up will get that message in a format that's been formatted. We did use email.js for that, so it's all in that service. And as per the Stay Connected newsletter, if you put an email address on there, so the church has been using the MailChimp to handle the congregations and mass emails, but that only works if you put in an email on that box. If you put just a name, it wouldn't go through. Now here you have a separate confirmation. Again, you have to put an email address, first and last name, and when you subscribe, it's gonna add you to their mass mailing list that you can get weekly or whatever, however it's set up. And on the bottom, right before the footer, we have a map where the church is located at. And on the bottom, it's just a neat looking footer with the logo and links to their social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And I think Avinash is going to talk more about the
moving on to the top again. What you might not have seen the first time is we do not have any live stream coming up at the moment, but as soon as Vic started talking, I started a live stream. So if I go ahead and refresh the page, well, the live stream should have popped up, but give me 1 second. Why is it not? Wrong timing. It should have been working, but I don't know why it's not working right now. Live stream should have popped up right over there in the middle. Okay.
Come back to that. Talk about the page layout.
Yeah, I have it on the deployed version. Turns out it's working on the deployed version. So yeah, there's the live stream. I'm streaming our presentation, the meeting right now. So yeah, it's being streamed, and as soon as I end the stream, the video will probably stop showing, and yeah, as soon as I refresh the page, the video will go out. And moving down for the who we are section, if we go in, we get a detailed version of the who we are. It gives us a small intro to who the church are, and we still have some pictures to add and some text to edit. But other than that, if we move down, we have a list of all the staffs at church right now, from the pastor to the directors of different ministries and facilities manager, and all of them. Going back again, if we go down to the new section and go in, here is an intro of the church for somebody who's new, who's never heard of them. It gives them access to a few of the FAQs, and which are in an expansion tile format. And if they want a quick look at the map where the church is, they can do that too. And moving down is just a snapshot of the church's calendar. They can look at this week's, this month's, and click on them to see if they want to copy it to their calendar, they can copy it. If there's any more details attached to it, they can look at the details from the calendar app. And moving on to the ministries, we have 6 different ministries. We can take example of one. It's just static text, gives the introduction to the director of the children's ministry and what the children's ministry is all about. And if you want to go into the last section, the little lambs, it's just like that. A bunch of text with all the information about the little lambs service provided by the church. And in order to change the text banner, we have hidden the sign in into our plain site, which is the copyrights in the bottom of the page. So if you click on that, it'll prompt you to the sign in page where we can sign in. And by the way, this sign in is straight out from AWS Cognito. We didn't have to do much. We just used the services provided by AWS. If we sign in, it'll take us to the simple edit notification banner prompt where we can type anything we want. Join Capstone presentation. And we do want to display the message, so if we select true and submit it, the banner should update. Join Capstone presentation. And we want to go back, we can go back. Want to sign out, we could have signed out. And that's pretty much about it, what we have right now. And moving back.
And for the future goals is just fixing some missing features. Not that major features are missing, but definitely some pictures in most of the pages in the website, and also documenting all the code and in a README file. So if they happen to want to add any more features to the website, so whoever takes over the website can easily follow along what we did and how we did it. And finally, handing over the website to the clients. And that's it for our presentation. And the floor is open for questions and suggestions or feedbacks.
I have a few things I wanted to talk about on it. For one, I noticed that when you're on the home page, if you can go back to the home page really quick. Scroll when you start scrolling down, I was kind of surprised like where we were going, because there's like it seems like a lot of empty white space on some pages.
Yeah, it was. We're using the React Scroll package, which allows us to implement smooth scrolling into the page when we click on the tabs.
Okay.
It was meant to utilize that feature. Yes, there is some white spacing between the tabs, between 2 sections, but it's easily controllable.
Yeah, one thing I've usually done that kind of helps out with that is like putting like a little arrow at the bottom, like where that's always kind of sitting there. It lets you know like, hey, you can click to go to the next down one.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep that in mind.
One other thing is also I noticed that the calendar was on the I'm new page. And also I want to say overall I really like this app. Like it's a very clean design. When you go to the how do you get to the calendar again in here?
Inside the I'm new section.
Yeah, it seems like that almost may be useful as a top level nav. Like
yeah.
Commonly I wouldn't want to go like if I'm actually been there for 10 years, I don't want to feel like I'm new and have to go click the I'm new sometime. Maybe like it may be a good idea to put that calendar because it's a nice feature. That's a very high quality feature to be able to show people on here. And one thing I'm kind of curious about, can you go log in again?
Sure. I should already be logged in. So yeah.
Yeah, let's log out because I was wondering. I saw it said create an account. Are you able to just?
Oh yeah, because we had wrapped the entire app, not just the update feature, but the entire app with the Cognito. So we can turn off the sign up feature from the AWS Cognito console whenever we want.
Okay, I was making sure that just make sure you can't have it where someone can just go in there and create an account.
Exactly.
Banner or something like that.
Yeah.
We literally talked about this yesterday, I think, to take it out, but somehow slipped our minds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still there.
Definitely something to keep in mind, though. But yeah, overall, it's really good.
Thank
you.
Hey, Avinash, there's a question for you in the chat.
Okay. Is there a way to check out previous live streams and easier group to be created on the website? Okay, yeah. We were thinking about keeping the last stream up until the next time, but turns out in order to interact with the YouTube API, it requires OAuth. That means the Google sign in every time to send a request. So we were not able to do that in the given time, but we will definitely look into implementing that feature if possible. And yes, we did talk about with the client if we'll be able to put our credit on the bottom, and they were pretty comfortable with it, easy going with it. So yeah, we will be putting down a credits like designed by us, our names and something like that.
I've got a quick question. This is Lane Arnold from Betaflix. I'm a cloud developer up here in Ruston, Louisiana. When y'all were given the project, y'all were giving a very old website, correct?
Yeah, let me put it up. Yeah, this is what it is.
Gotcha. And when y'all when y'all designed the new website, did you base it off of just the content of the old website, or did you design it off of more of the design of the old website?
Since First United Methodist Church is like a huge group of churches, we did take inspiration from other sister churches like University Church of Baton Rouge and other United Methodist Church around Louisiana and Texas areas. And we did want to stay in the same pattern. So we did like get inspired some ideas from them. Plus, we also talked with our clients from church and what they wanted to be on the new website, and they wanted to like narrow down the details by a lot because there's a whole bunch of stuff. Even if you can look at the screen right now, even inside every section, there's a whole bunch of drop downs with so many stuff that people basically never even look at. So just wanted one spot for everything. So, and we asked for details from them and they gave us, and that's just how they want it. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, so whenever the email is being submitted for a subscription, I would recommend just having a link to that form where they punch in their email, first name, last name, rather than asking them to enter their email and then asking them to enter their email again. Just a minor slight annoyance. Definitely consider what you want in terms of top nav bars. So calendar was a really good example. You know, where are we? Might be a reasonable like top level item. Just make sure you try and figure out what would be useful to the people who you most expect to visit the site.
Yeah.
In whatever goals they might be seeking by visiting, so that your top nav, which I'll much prefer this slimmed down site to the one that you linked to the original site having so many things, right? This one feels much more succinct. So keep it that way. Just make sure you really target that what's most useful, and that should be towards the top.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, it's time to hear from the clients, please.
Hi, I'm Reverend Allie Young, and first, we are just so grateful to the guys for all their work. They took our hot mess of a website and brought it into this millennium, and for that, we are very grateful. And they did a great job in listening to what we wanted and what we needed. and they did a great job of researching the heck out of all of the other linked websites, seeing what was available to connect. They messed with a lot of we have a bunch of different software that we use to keep track of people, to plan things, to host our calendar and other things. And they did a great job of checking to see how those could be integrated in the most neat and succinct way. They did a great job with helping just try different things. Currently, we stream from Facebook, which is a very unfriendly interface. And so they helped us work through the process of transferring over to YouTube and make that work. So really just commend them on making it look good, making it functional, having all of the aspects that we need. We were really hoping to streamline it and make it really, really user friendly. And the church demographic tends to be older people and people that are they just want to know where you are, what time to be there, and where they can put their kids. And so they did a great job of making that upfront and right there. And they did a great job. We're super happy. Our communications director cried the first time she saw it because it was so beautiful and user friendly. She was overjoyed. It's Zach's wife, so that's why he's laughing. But Zach or Chris, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I completely agree, and absolutely they're going to get credit because there's no way that we could have made this look like this anyway. So we're really pleased with the result. I've been navigating our old website for 10 years, being down here, and it's just a mess. And so this is proving to be a much more useful. And Matthew, I appreciate your comments as well about adding another tab about where we are and linking that to the map. That's those little nuances are huge. For people looking for a place like us. So, guys, we really appreciate it. This has been awesome, and it's been awesome walking through the process with y'all and y'all using language we're familiar with to explain what it is you're doing.
We learned that from Matthew from 383. We gotta give him credit for that.
Well, it's been much easier to understand and walk along in the process, and we've certainly learned a lot.
We're gonna miss our Thursday meetings.
Yep, sure will.
Just to add on to what Zach and Ali said, y'all really rocked it out, and it's definitely been a pleasure working with you guys.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or feedback?
It's very good that you have a happy client and that you were able to get to a point where they want to see it live. That is something that is rarely achieved in the 4.11 realm. So I look forward to seeing the live site.
Sure, we'll let you know when it's up.
This is very impressive, both the functionality that you've included in the site and, I sometimes focus on functionality part, which is what is also impressive, the aesthetics here. That sometimes gets lower priority. You guys are making this very clear to the eye. So I give you a big shout out to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or feedback?
I'm done.
All right, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so now we're gonna go to the following group. We're gonna go to Rational Register with Tyler Piccolo, Ted Diepenbrock, Lindsay Poche, and Austin Benton. And the client is Dr. Pao Yang.
All right, hello everyone. I'll go ahead and present my screen. Alrighty, we are the Rational Register, and I'm Austin Benton. I'll go ahead and let my teammates introduce themselves.
I'm Ted Diepenbrock.
Tyler Piccolo.
And I'm Lindsay Poche.
All right, and our client is Dr. Kopao Yang. He is the faculty advisor for our Association of for Computing Machinery here in our computer science department. So we've been working with him on this project, and Tyler's going to tell you all some more about that.
So the purpose of the project is to provide students with relevant information regarding events and operations of ACM. One of the things that Pau saw from a previous class that we were in with him was that in our 401, that is how we use Discord and how it was able to, kind of just bring together everybody in the computer science department. Right now they have, typically on average 100 people that are active in that server, and, counting everybody else that's not active, they got about 300 people. And so he wanted us to incorporate that as much as possible into our site, just to bring relevant information across multiple platforms. And unlike other avenues and the current ACM website, this one that we have will allow users to manage and do payments as well as pay their dues.
So the product requirements that we were given was to display ACM events, officers, and related content. We want to allow administrators to use the ability to use the Discord bot to manage the web app. And we want to allow students to join and pay membership dues. The technologies that we used were GoEngine, Gonic, and MongoDB in the database, and we used React on the front end. Ted's now going to take it away with the demonstration.
All right, I'm going to take you guys on a tour of our website. So I assume everyone can see. All right, so this is the the homepage. There's as you can see, there's a video on the front. You can scroll down. There's about us, some more information you get from ACM. We can go to officers next. So this is the officers page. You have the ACM officers and president and some of the other officers. Here's the events page. I'm actually going to come back to that. So here's resources. You can see when schedules are for different classes. So users can come here and check this out. Here's a calendar, so you can actually see the events, any upcoming events. You can check these out. Find out the times they start and stuff. We can go to the membership. So if you wanted to make a membership, start a membership, you can actually click on this, and it'll send you to a form where you can print out and send this to the ACM to become a member. If you want to do Square, you can actually go through Square, and you gotta pay the membership this way also. So you have Google Pay and stuff. Over down here in the footer, we have different links. We have actually a merch where you can buy merchandise. So this, we actually used Website Builder to create this. So if y'all want to support ACM, y'all can go ahead to this website and buy something. I'm gonna go back to the events now. So this up here, the big photo in the front is actually pinned. So we have that, and these are future events, upcoming events. As you can see, there's this event ended 2 hours ago. This one did too. That one is ending in 2 hours. And actually, these are all being rendered from Discord using a Discord bot that we can actually come over here and check out. So it listens for events on the events test page, and I can actually do a help to give some information. So bot command, currently there's only one bot command, which is help. It tells you how to post something in this channel. You know, you'll need a date, title, body, which is parsed. Things that are allowed are images. You can add a role or add someone. And you can actually reply to any events that are posted here also. And they'll render as comments on the website. And then the emojis, any emojis you add to the event will also be rendered. So if Lindsay or Tyler wants to go ahead and add an event so we can see it live. So Lindsay added something. I'll go ahead and refresh the website. And let's see what time it starts. She said it starts on May 10th. So it actually starts in 4 days and 1 hour. I can click on it. Brings you to a single events page. You can read about it. Tyler just said, can't wait to go. So this stuff is all being rendered from Discord, as you can see, their profile images. And go back to the events page. Y'all can add something else if y'all want. We can actually go ahead and pin this message, and it will replace the previous pin message. And I could refresh that. And there you go. You could click this link right here to actually go to it also. You can delete it. Lindsay, if you want to go ahead and delete that, just to show that the previous pin will come up. Oh yeah, here's emojis. Well, yeah, okay, it was already deleted. So you can refresh it. Iron Man comes back. So yeah, so after 48 hours, the event is over and it doesn't show up anymore on the events page. And if it's in a 24-hour time period, you have a ribbon, a blue ribbon with a timer on it. It says pretty much, you know, the event starts pretty soon. If the event is up here pinned, you can have there's a ribbon for pinned events. And you can also add markup language. So right here, here's another one. So here's actually markup language, and you can see where this is coming from right there. So this is all markup, and all this is being parsed and being rendered from here. All right. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, there's carousel. If you have more than one image, you have a carousel and it just filters through them. Oh yeah, one more thing. There's a Discord and navbar link where you can actually click on to send you to the Discord server, CMPS Discord server. And you go ahead and invite. And that's it. You guys have any questions?
I have one question, or if you actually, so whenever you make the payment, how is that being recorded in your system that this is kind of paying for someone's dues? How do y'all keep track of that?
Okay, so I introduced myself earlier. I'm Lindsay. I'm also the treasurer of the ACM, so I have access to all the accounts where people can pay. So it's part of my duties to make sure that every student pays their fees and also submits their form. So I have access to the dashboard with Square to double check everything like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, the dashboard. Did y'all? Is that on here on the website y'all were just showing? Because I don't remember seeing the dashboard.
That's actually all through Square. So we didn't have to create that. It's all separately. A third party does everything for that.
Okay. And did y'all consider it all? I saw that like when you have sign up for the ACM, it'd be kind of cool if you can go through the site to sign up. So I saw it was like a form you probably had to like print out and write on. I know all of us like techie people hate printing out stuff. So did y'all ever consider like making a online register or online sign up for here?
You are able to email the PDF to the ACM, but that's the only way to submit the forms online right now.
Okay.
We wanted to do more, but we ran out of time.
Okay. I gotcha. Oh, and I guess the other question is, how did y'all feel about using the Discord server? Did y'all find that to be a positive experience? Is it something you would consider doing again? Like, how did y'all feel about using that as y'all's back end?
It was a good experience. There was some caveats to it, but it was, I guess, just coding, you know. It wasn't too bad, you know. Everything that we wanted to do to it, we actually were able to do. Some things didn't get finished, but of course we didn't show that. But everything, you know, everything's possible, and the documentation is really readable.
Okay, yeah, because I thought it was a cool idea. Like, it's a great way, especially like if you have a very active community on Discord, to have a more Google searchable way of getting that information out there. But I did like that idea. That's pretty cool.
Right. Appreciate it.
I really liked the uniqueness of the Discord CRM. It's very odd. I love it. And so if you, however, allow user-generated content in the form of replies to these messages and events, be very careful about who has permission to do that and who can put comments there and how those comments are being displayed on the screen and what's the size limit. If I add an attachment as a reply, does that show up? All sorts of user content type of things.
So Discord has their own limits for certain things, like 2,000 characters, I believe. So paragraphs. Yeah, there is a size limit for images also. We haven't tested videos. You can actually currently, I don't know how long this has been going on for, but you can upload multiple images if you're on a cellular device. And we were able to find out a lot more things that we didn't know that you can do in Discord. So that's one of them.
With those powers comes your security space.
Yes.
All those things are potential exploits.
Yes. So the plan is we'll make another Discord server, or have Pal make one. That way he has control of it. And then we'll only have the ACM officers in there so that we know that no one's going to have the possibility or the permissions to post something which would obviously be insecurity.
I want to add one thing. Currently, it is being validated using roles. So if you don't have an ACM role, then you cannot post an event. It will not store the data of your post. Now, everybody's allowed to comment, but that's also pretty easy to change. You can allow like ACM members only to comment if you wanted that. Anybody can add an emoji, but there's a role validation on the back.
Yeah. As long as it's a whitelist of people who can actually do the thing that posts content, if they do something that's no good, then you know who it is, you can remove it, and they can get in trouble. As long as that's there, then significantly less. But if a random person with an invite link can join and then comment and then have something on the ACM website, it would be bad.
It would be.
Super tiny comment before I give the floor to someone else. On the video that's playing on the introduction thing, consider a slight interior drop shadow around the edges of that to silhouette the video around the outside to make it feel like part of the website rather than the end of the website. Because right now with that custom scroll bar, there's nothing else on this website.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's good. We'll keep that in mind. We'll look into it. Thanks. Anything else?
Yeah, we want to hear also from Dr. Powell if possible.
Oh, of course.
Hey, I have one real quick question.
Yes.
I was really curious. What is the current ACM president? I was just really curious as to what their thoughts and opinion of the site.
Austin.
Okay. I don't know if I'm current yet, but you gotta think. You gotta think this team really worked hard. You know, you love what you're seeing out of this. I'm really looking forward to using this web app. Yeah. I think definitely this can can meet a lot of our needs, and it'll be useful for sure. I think we can still make a lot more improvements to it, though.
Go ahead, Pao. It's your turn.
All right. So this project for ACM, the Square account, we try to implement for several years, but this is the first time I see the Square account is enabled. So also the Discord is a very awesome idea. And only one comment is I hope they can publish into some server as soon as possible, because since they done a good job, so they are able to enable in any the server, including myself. I have my own server. They are welcome to publish over. So I like their project. Okay, very well. So then since Austin, you are the president, so enable. So we have Treasure, Nancy also from ACM. Okay, thank you so much. That's good. I hope it will be an ACM server for long term. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Bao. And we'll definitely be looking into getting it on the server soon. Actually, we're pretty close, so should be pretty soon.
Thank you, Austin. Any other questions for the group?
One piece of small comment. Your small indicators on the events, letting people know that this event is upcoming or past, or the currently pinned event, the little bookmark symbol that you have with an icon, that's really thoughtful in terms of like how to indicate something without it being text somewhere you have to read. It's a good visual metaphor. Those are the types of things in design that other people steal because it's a good idea and it's nice.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Anything else?
Do you have a good T-shirt design, or just like do you have some custom T-shirts that anybody wants to get from your merchandise?
I think Lindsay showed us a T-shirt for Lindsay. Do you have one on you?
I didn't bring it with me today, but we did order some samples and they print very nicely. We've had actually a couple orders so far, but we expect more once that website is actually hosted, the main website. This is obviously through a third party.
I want to see some really good custom ACM Southeastern blend kind of things, not just the logo. Some fancy T-shirts. Have fun with making those T-shirt designs.
It was a lot of fun. We actually got a graphic designer to do these for us. So it was really nice to work with someone who knew what they were doing.
Any other comments, suggestions, anyone?
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, virtual clapping for our lovely ones. So we have our last group, but not least. This group is worked on a card game. You're gonna enjoy it a lot. The team members are Josh Bird, Brandon Falgo, Austin Fontenot, and David Padu. And the client is Cody Britt. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you for such an awesome introduction there, Hassan. Better than some of the other ones you've given us.
I knew you were going to say something about that.
Anyway, sorry, inside joke. Austin's got to kick us off.
Yeah, so we are 404 Brain Not Found is our team name. We're going to be talking about our capstone presentation. And like Hassan said, it's me, Josh, David, and Brandon. And then as far as our client, it's Cody Britt. He's actually the systems engineering coordinator for Southeastern. I'm a student worker under him, so that's kind of how we came into contact. He's actually here with us right now, so if he has anything to say, feel free to chime in, Cody. But his idea he pitched to us was to develop a game that utilized some sort of peer-to-peer multiplayer connection. So we kind of took inspiration from that and made a card game around that idea.
So what Capstone is like Mr. Arcadi and or Dr. Arcadi and Austin mentioned is that it is a turn-based strategy card game developed in the Unity engine. It does feature a PvP matchmaking system utilizing the Photon networking engine. The final product that you're going to see in the demo today is going to show artwork for cards, menus, backgrounds, and stuff that were developed by graphic design students here, Dylan Fontenot, Taylor McLean, and Seth Timmerman.
All right, so how Capstone works. Each player starts with a hand of cards, 5 cards in your hand. We have 2 different types of cards. We have ability cards and utility cards. Ability cards are what you use to attack and defend. And on the right, that is an example of an ability card. In the top left corner, we have the cost value. And the top right corner is the accuracy value, which we added in. If you don't actually land a hit, it doesn't negate it. It fizzles out and halves the damage you do. We have the name and the offensive and defensive values of the ability card down at the bottom. And you can use utility cards to actually amplify the attack damage and the defense of the card. And each player takes turns going back and forth on attack and defense until one person runs out of health and the game's over.
Yep, so we'll go ahead and jump into a quick demo of this. So this is the first screen that you will see when you open up the build. This is our title screen. Capstone is the name of our game, named after the class, and we will go ahead and hit start. So after your title menu, you're greeted with a main menu where you have just start a game, your options, and then an exit. So we're going to go straight into start a game. So now we're on our matchmaking scene, and because I have not entered a nickname for myself yet, I will need to enter a nickname first before I can continue to do anything. So I'm going to enter my own name, being Josh. Hit apply, and then now I can do one of 2 things. I can either join a game, create a game, or leave the screen. For the create a game, you will have to provide a room name so that other players can find it. And for join a game, there will be a active list here, which was a big request from our midterm presentation. For in our midterm presentation, both the join game and create game looked exactly the same. And to join a game, you had to enter the room name that you would be given directly from your friend or whatever. So it was nearly impossible for people who didn't know each other, to anonymous players, to play a game. So now with that suggestion, we have made an active list of open games that you can just click on and join without having to know that person. And just on time, Austin has made a game. So now that we can just join Austin's game. So we can select his game and then hit join. So this is our main screen here. So the first thing you're going to notice is that we're drawing cards. And like we said earlier, you're going to draw to 5 cards total. You will see both players both have sectioned off left and right. So Austin is the host of this game, so he is on the left. He has a health bar, energy bar, his name, avatar, and then I have the same things as well. Capstone is usually meant to be played with 20 health for each player and then 5 energy, but we cut it down to 7 just for this presentation because a 20 health game can usually last anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, but we didn't want to go on for too long, so we cut it down to 7. Since Austin was the host of this game, he is attacking first, and I am defending, as the narration says up top. So we are going to have Austin go and play a card. So Austin has played a card, and this is the PAL Techromancer card, which is going to cost him 5 energy, and it is going to inflict 5 damage on me unless I do something about it. So I got to defend against PAL. So to defend against PAL, I have my cards down here that I can all select. When I select a card, it gives me a play button option, and then I can deselect a card. I can also discard cards that I don't like by selecting that card and then hitting discard. So I'll maybe do that for this dagger. Let's say I just didn't want this dagger right now. I can click it and then hit discard, and now it's out of my hand. I can also pass if I chose to not play anything, but on this one I do want to defend, so I'm not going to pass. So what I would like to do is play the Spike Shield card. So this is going to cost me 2 energy, and it resists 4 damage, and PAL is going to do 5 damage against me. This is going to resist 4, so I should only take 1 health. So my health should drop from 7 to 6. Let's hit play. And that did indeed happen. So now I have 6 health, but I only used a card with 2 energy, while Austin used a card with 5 energy. So I have more energy than him. Each player gets 5 and more energy at the beginning of a new round, and it is now my turn to attack. Austin played a card too early, it looked like, by accident. One thing we would like to add later on is that the defending player should not be able to even play a card until the attacking player plays a card, like in this example. But it should still work. So let's go ahead and continue on. So with my 8 energy, I would like to play my McDumbledowel card after Patrick McDowell, our professor. And this should inflict 7 damage. And then Austin is going to play his Gaston the Conqueror card after GDoc, the Viking or something. And he is only going to resist 1 damage off of this. So this should do 6 damage total when I go to play it. And it did, so now Austin is only down to 1 health. And he's got some more energy than I do. So some of the things that we can also do, like we said earlier, is we can attach cards and such. So like this hardened card here. So this adds 1 cost and 2 defense to a card that I apply it to. So Austin is going to inflict 5 damage on me. So like, let's say this spike shield here only resists for 4 damage. So if I were to just play the spike shield outright, I would still take 1 health damage because of his higher amount. But what I'm going to do is take this hardened card. I'm going to apply it to the spiked shield card, and I'm going to get a null reference exception and not do that. So, a couple of bugs in the game. Typically it works, but we're going to move on and just play the spiked shield hopefully. But all right. So I did take the 1 health. It is my turn to attack. I have 8 energy, and if Austin will allow me to, I would like to go ahead and end the game by playing the Techromancer. Pal's going to end it. And so I'm going to inflict 5 damage. Austin only has 1 health, and Austin's going to pass so that we can kill him and end the game. So he passed. He went down to -4 health, and this is when the game should transition to a new scene and should display like an end game, like, hey, you won, you lost. But unfortunately, we didn't get that far into being able to do that. And then you would be able to exit the game from there, and then you're back into the main menu, and you could go through all the things again. Like in your options as well, there's a volume option, which you guys can't hear the volume of the game because I'm sharing my screen and it doesn't share volume as well. But there is some menu music going over the top, and you can adjust volume. And then there's also a change nickname button in case you wanted to change the name that you had before. And I'll hit back, and I'll go ahead and exit the build, and we'll go back into our slideshow. And so that was our demonstration. We had throughout the entire process, we made a lot of diagrams in UML, really inspired by Burris's class. We were all taking 415 this semester, and one of the first things he taught us was UML diagrams and stuff. So we used draw.io, which was the website he showed us, and we used Whimsical to just stay organized and create diagrams and UML-like things, so that we could all design the code before we even code. And it was a really good experience. And if any of you guys would like to see some of these diagrams during the question time, just request that and we'll go through whatever y'all like to see. So yeah, at this time, is there any questions and or feedback?
I just want to add in real quick, because we had a lot of great suggestions during the midterm. Serverless was one of them, kind of like we mentioned. We had I think we had a good suggestion that was more like borders for the cards, or like, hover over your mouse, and kind of you have some of those effects happen. We wanted to put that in. We just didn't really have the time to get to that point. But it was a great suggestion, and if we do end up continuing this, it's something we'd want to implement immediately.
So one thing I want to ask is, I don't see very many 411 students do a Unity project. How did y'all feel doing that? Did you feel like it was a very positive experience for the semester? Did y'all actually like doing this, or would you not recommend it in the future?
So for me to answer this personally, so I personally want to be a game developer. That's actually one of the things that I want to do. And I've actually used Unity. It's probably about my 4th or 5th game that I've made in Unity. And I find Unity really cool. I actually do recommend it. I don't, however, recommend doing an online game like we did for a semester project, because the learning the Photon engine and the online networking was probably a lot, while also my fellow group mates had never used Unity. So my fellow group mates were learning Unity for the first time and the Photon engine all in one for the very first time in one semester. So that was kind of a big load to kind of handle all at once. So, but just Unity by itself, maybe an offline game, I would recommend it. But I'll let my group mates also share their opinions.
Yeah. Go ahead, David.
I mean, I had tons of fun. Most of the other group project classes are all, websites, front end, back end, and everything like that. And this was a fun change of pace. And, I'd never really worked with Unity, so it was a good opportunity to change it up and really have fun with, my senior project instead of doing, something that I'm probably going to be doing for a very long time. It was a good change up, and I had fun with it. So
I
I'd
definitely agree with that. Yeah.
the project.
Yeah, I've never worked with Unity. I have zero interest in game design as a profession, but just to do something new as a project class was great. And I want to say working with Photon, it was really interesting because you kind of had this new layer to it where now instead of keeping up with one client, you've got two clients. So if something's happening on Josh's end, it's, hey, is this happening on your end too, Austin? Well, it's not. Okay, well, it kind of added another layer of complexity to it, but I had fun.
Not to say that any of the other projects are bad. All the other projects were great. Just to say that.
That was a smart move, Josh.
Yep, thank you. And yeah, we had fun, especially with the cards that were requested. We made like y'all saw the GDOT card. Y'all saw I happened to draw all three of the professor cards, so y'all got to see all three of them, which was great. We saw Pal, GDOC, and McDowell. Actually, we had Burris in there too. I don't think you guys saw Burris, if I don't remember.
We didn't get to see Squire
So I'll
here.
pop them up on the screen if
Yes.
if anybody else wants to ask any questions while I'm finding that.
While you are finding those things, you should be sure to send all of the professor cards to Dr. Alcati so he may disseminate the collectibles from this class. I think that is necessary for all those attending, that we get the cards, ideally with like all the text and stuff with these, nice and high resolution.
Yep. They're actually built in runtime. That's why we don't have the text over them. But we could do that. We could build them and then snap a screenshot and stuff. But that's our McDowell one right there. And this was our Burris one right here. This was Sir Burris, and I love the Python banner in the background as a touch. The Minecraft sword. It's great.
That's awesome.
And then Pow. The Techromancer, I believe. Yeah. Techromancer. Glasses. Cool. And then Gassan was our fourth one right there. Gassan the Conqueror. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, so extra minor things. On your main menu, the little hover text, when you hover over it, there's a slightly darker border that appears. Make sure that's perfectly centered, because if it's like a little bit wobbly wobbly, or at least it looked like that, perhaps it was just a presentation, but it looked like they were slightly askew. Kills me a little bit, like those two things are misaligned. Whenever you have states like joining the game, ensure that you have a loading indicator or a visual indication that it's working. I know you're probably very close to each other at the moment, but if there's higher latency or if there's network problems, you may not know if it's actually trying or if it just froze or what. You want to make sure it's clear that you're attempting to load. And then on the end with a match, consider a rematch button so you can just like you won, you're lucky, and just play another round, and then otherwise just bump back to the screen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with joining a game, it's pretty instant, but yeah, loading or whatever would be cool. And then I guess you guys didn't get to see the create a game since Austin created the game, but if you do create a game, this is what you're seated with until somebody joins, and then you could cancel right there.
One little extra thing I want to note on is I know it was an issue that popped up where you had the null reference error, but usually you want to try to make like a something that kind of catches all your errors that you can kind of log into your backend and, you know, for your developers to know what went wrong, but usually display to the user, oops, something went wrong. We'll try to figure it out later or something like that, just so you don't like give out these like technical weird things to users sometimes. It's just that's for like everyone here on every website or game or anything you make. You always want to have some kind of thing that catches all your issues like that.
And I would agree. And to believe it or not, that was the first time we encountered that error, so I didn't even see it coming. Lucky us. But yeah, I would agree to do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't sweat it because that happens to me all the time too. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think once we got the functionality, like the game turn, you know, event flow together, it was like the second half of the project was bug fixes basically.
Any other questions?
Did you get a chance to watch the Juice It or Lose It talk I mentioned from the midterms?
I hadn't. I don't know if anybody else has.
I have not. You'd mentioned particle effects, and I started going down that rabbit hole like immediately after, and it was like, okay, maybe we ought to get the functionality done because this looks like it's a lot more of a time sink than it may have seemed like it would have been.
Oh yeah, it's not free. If you like making games, I thought it was a very good summary of how to make things look visually exciting without truly changing any of the hard bits, right? Because you can basically achieve everything they talk about through just shaders and sound.
Yep, that's definitely something that we would, if we continue on with the game, we would definitely spice it up a whole lot more, give a lot more visual feedback and such.
I think Cody is here. Let's hear from Cody too. Your client.
Yeah, I see Cody. Oh, there he is.
There we go. Yeah, I very much like this project. You know, when Austin and I were talking about it, I was looking for something that was simple that I could throw up super fast and kind of like a little time waster while I'm waiting on something. And this fits the bill perfectly. I love the art style, especially the professor cards and all those things. Those are absolutely amazing. And then in terms of the project and these guys working on it, you know, like I said, you know, like Austin said, he's a student worker. His office is one door down from mine. And I'd walk by and hear these guys working on it. And not only are they working hard, they're having a good time with it. So, you know, great group of guys. And like I said, the project, it just looks fantastic to me.
Thank you, Cody. Any other questions or feedback for the group? And yes, me and Josh, we were going at it for a while. You know, Josh always thinks that I don't like his project, but I really do like it. And this is one motivating Josh and his group to do awesome. And you know, I suggested to have some other professors to be part of the cards. So definitely Pau was my first choice as usual. We'd always like to have Pau stuff. So thank you guys. These were very good projects. Thank you so much. And if anybody from the industry would like to say something to, you know, these are mostly senior students and some of them are graduating students. So if anybody from the industry would like to say anything to encourage the students, so please do so before we end this session.
Don't be afraid to make weird things that might not necessarily work out from a commercial standpoint, even if you're just primarily making commercial software, because you will learn interesting, useful things that will come up in surprising ways.
One thing I would what I was gonna say is never get comfortable ever. Like if you start feeling like you're really good at back end and you're like, I don't want to touch front end because I'm just really good at back end. No, don't ever get like that. Always be challenging yourself and definitely try to be full stack. Don't try to pigeonhole yourself as like, oh, I'm a front end dev. I could never learn SQL or back end or something like that. Like always, or even if you don't know, you feel like you know everything, go learn video game development like some of these guys did. Like always keep on challenging yourself because you don't want to get like settled in your ways because then the whole tech community will just leave you behind.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that. Continuous learning is something that you need to bring to the table with you, and the creativity aspect of it is definitely paramount. When you come into industry, we're always looking for new and creative ideas, and all of you demonstrated that tonight. So really good job, fantastic.
You're muted, Doc.
Thank you, Matt. I said I think Lane had something to say. Lane, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, absolutely. And so these kind of projects that kind of go above and beyond, just to give some encouragement, these projects that go above and beyond, and something different, something that stands out is what gets you hired. It's how I got hired right out of graduating from Louisiana Tech. So take encouragement from that.
Thank you so much. Anybody else has anything to say? Hey, is Dr. Burr still with us? All right, John, do you want to say anything to the students since this is going to be their last capstone? Do you want to say something to encourage them?
Oh, now I'm feeling the pressure. I wanted to say, hey, I actually saw, Lane, I don't know if you know this, but I'm on the IAB for Louisiana Tech Computer Science. So I actually saw your senior design project. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, no, for the people that presented today, it's really been a hard week. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are ready for summer, very stressful, and this really makes my week. To kind of end it on this note, the projects were exceptional. Seriously, every single one of them, from the First United Methodist Church to standard web app to the game. I mean, I just loved every single project. So really outstanding work, everybody. You did us proud. So thank y'all.
Thank you, John. So, anyone else has anything to say before we bid our byes?
I definitely expect those high-res images.
Trust me, they won't get a grade unless they send them to you.
Are you in the Discord, VDoc?
I'm probably not.
No,
okay,
he's not.
I'll figure that out. I'll email the 383 address. Send them.
Perfect.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, he'll get it. He'll get it.
We'll get it.
He'll get it. All right. Any other questions or feedback? All right. I thank you all for a wonderful semester. Students, you did a good job. And thank you for the industry for always backing us up. We really appreciate you. If anybody wants to get in touch with any of these students, just email me at galkadi@selu.edu, and I'll be very happy to connect you with any student that you like, their presentation tonight. So thank you so much, and enjoy your break. And don't forget your evaluations, guys, especially team leaders. Send them the evaluations.
Bye, Gina.
Bye, everyone.